If you are a beginner with home organization, then these tips will help you. I'm also going to explain how each one of these tips can help someone with ADHD while they're doing home organization. The first thing that you need to do is decide where you're going to start because you may have your whole house to organize, and that is a really big task. So you need to pick a room, a side of a room, an area, wherever you want to start. And this is another thing that you need to think about. Which area is going to be the hardest to do and which area is going to be the easiest to do, because of the fact that if you have a room with just a lot of stuff in it and you know it's going to take you hours or maybe days to get through that, you probably don't want to start there. You may want to start on one side of the room that you know that you can get through in 2 to 3 hours, and that's not going to take you a long time, because the thing about this is you want to have some kind of wins and you want to make some sort of progress. If you're in that room where there's all that stuff and you're going to look back at it and say, I'm not really making a whole bunch of progress, I still see a lot of stuff. But if you look in an area that you've already kind of gone through and it's only taking you 2 to 3 hours and you see that it's organized, then you're gonna feel like that you are making progress. And this is important for ADHD because of the fact that when you're looking at a task and it's super big, and you may think about, okay, I want to do that task, but not right now because it is going to take a lot of time to finish it. As opposed to if you break things down, then you're going to have different little tasks that you can do and you will accomplish more. And that's always good for creating some extra dopamine for you. Now, something else you need to do is figure out how you're going to divide things. And what I mean is, you have a closet. Do you want your jeans on the right or left? Do you want your shoes in the middle or up top? Wherever you want to put different things, you need to divide the different sections. And they do make dividers for this to make it a lot easier in your closet, so you know where a section ends and begins. And this just makes it easier because you can see what's in each section. And then if you have something you need to put back, you know exactly where it goes. Now, you can also get dividers for your drawers as well to make it a little bit easier for you in the drawer. So if you have socks or underwear or bras or whatever, and you want to have a drawer with all that stuff in it, then you can get a divider and each thing can have its little section. Or if you have a desk, you can get a divider in your drawer for that and have all your different desk things in there and have their own little section as well. Now, sometimes to think about is, what do you actually need and what can you get rid of, donate, or throw away? Because sometimes you have things that you just aren't going to use anymore. They're in your closet. Maybe you have an outfit that you're not going to wear anymore. You just don't fit into anymore and you're still holding on to it. Maybe you want to get rid of that. Or maybe you have 5 different dinnerware sets and you only need one, but you have 5. So why don't you find a friend or maybe donate them or maybe sell them and get rid of that as well? Because all these different things take up space in your house or apartment, and then they become clutter, and then they clutter up your room. And when you have ADHD, you walk into a room with a lot of clutter, it's gonna make you feel a little cramped, gonna make you feel a lot uncomfortable. And so the point is, you want to have less stuff in your house or apartment so it gives you more space. And something else that you need to think about is throwing away all the expired food in your pantry or refrigerator. Go through, look at the date, and then see if you're comfortable with the date that's still on that thing. And if not, go ahead and get rid of it, especially when you look at things in the refrigerator and they've been in there a long time hidden behind something, and you might not even be able to describe what it is at the time. So go ahead and get rid of that as well. And this is going to help you clean up space. And one of the reasons that is good for ADHD, because it helps make things more visual and able to be seen easier because of the fact you don't have as much stuff now. You can look in the direction and see, okay, this is there, that's there. And then you might have a way to make sure everything is visual so you don't have things hidden behind another thing here or there. And speaking of keeping things visual, you need clear containers and clear bins, because you can look over, see what's inside, and then decide if that is the right container, or do you need to look for a different container or different bin. And this makes finding things so much easier. It's going to save you time, it's going to save you frustration, and you can get them in all different shapes and sizes. So whatever item you need to put in there, then it's going to make it a lot easier to organize it. And especially with food, you can get food containers that are clear as well. And then it's much easier to find that spice or maybe whatever you need to cook something. And the reason it's so important to keep things where you can see them if you have ADHD or know someone with ADHD is because of the fact that sometimes When you have ADHD, you'll look over and just forget something that is there, especially maybe you had it just before you put it down and you just don't remember that it's there. Or if it's behind something, you may not notice it or may not remember that you put it back there. And so you want a reminder, and that reminder is being able to have something to where you can automatically see it. And then you're like, okay, that is what I am looking for right there. So you want to make it easy for them to see. And something else that you want to consider, you don't have to do everything at once. You can use multiple sessions, and don't be afraid to do that, because you might want to clean just one side or one section of your room, and then you want to come back and then clean a different section of the room. Don't try to do it all at once. And when you have ADHD, the other thing is you might want to consider taking little breaks here and there so you can go through, work for a little while, take a break, and then come back to it a little bit later, maybe a 10-minute break, 15-minute break. Now, if you are just really engrossed in whatever you're doing, maybe you want to wait till an hour to take a break. It just depends on how you want to structure everything. But all this boils down to breaking things down into smaller tasks, smaller sections, so that when you look at a big task like cleaning your whole house or whole room, then you have little different sections to clean or to accomplish first, and that works up to the bigger task. So you're still going to accomplish the big task, you're just going to accomplish smaller tasks along the way, and that's going to help give you completion of goals, and that is always good for some extra dopamine. Now, if you've gotten value out of this video so far, go and click the subscribe button for me. Now, the next thing is make sure you're hanging stuff up. It's going to do 3 things for you. 1, it's going to make things easier to see. 2, it's going to make things easier to access. 3, it's going to free up space. And what I mean is that if you have a hook in your closet to hang your coat, and then you previously hung it on the clothes rack in your closet, now that space where that coat was is now freed up for you to do whatever you want to. So if you want to hang something there, you can do that. Or maybe you have an area and you just need to get space out of that area, and so now you have it when you're using a hook. You can also have a hook in your kitchen to make sure you can access your utensils and see them easily, and that way they aren't taking up space in a pantry or a drawer or whatever, and you can easily get to them. And by the way, if you lose your keys a lot, then you may want to have a hook by the door, so when you come in, you just put them on the hook. And something else you can have by the door that's really good is to have a shoe rack. Now, you can put a shoe rack pretty much anywhere, but right by the door is a good place for it, because you can walk in and then put your shoes right in the shoe rack. But if you have a closet and you have just a whole bunch of shoes in your closet and you're just trying to organize them, then have a shoe rack there as well. Or you can have it on the side of the room next to a wall and put it there as well. But the point is, shoes tend to get disorganized or tend to get thrown around or tend to just make a mess a lot of times. And so you want to figure out a way to organize them, or at least make them look a little neater, and a shoe rack will do that. Now, the other thing is you get a shoe rack and then you have only a limited amount of space in your shoe rack, and you have to decide, do you want to get more shoe racks, or do you want to reduce the amount of shoes that you have? And then if you decide you want to reduce the amount of shoes that you have, that's a good thing, because it's then going to free up space in your closet or wherever. But at the end of everything, it's going to help you keep your shoes more organized, and that's going to make your whole house or apartment look less cluttered. Now, if you have ADHD or know someone with ADHD, this is not the whole process. I have a video that goes over how to set up your house for someone with ADHD, and you can watch that video right here.